In this tutorial, I'll show you how to get ready for Microsoft Excel assessment test in 25 simple steps. This tutorial will cover functionality for beginners test, so stay here with me, an online training for everyone. In this tutorial, we're going to complete 25 activities that you see here on the screen. They're represented as the steps 1 through 25. We'll use the data in the columns B through H, and activities are listed in columns J through L. I also reserve column M for you to download the file and complete the same activities, either following me along or by yourself after you watch this video. There are a couple tips I'd like to share with you, and I would like to start with understanding the data. If you look at the data in this table, you see that it has a title, which is product sales data, and then it has a header, which represents a lot of different columns. So we have a product information, we have units sold, manufacturing price, sales price, gross sales, manufacturing cost, and profit. You also see that the data doesn't have any borders. And I think the reason for that is because one of the activities is to create borders around this table, as you typically do in Microsoft Excel. So the data would look similar to this table. Second tip is to read activity carefully, so you understand what exactly are you trying to accomplish as part of each specific activity. Our first activity here on the list is to expand columns B and C to fit the content. First, you need to understand that Excel has columns, A, B, C, D, and etc., and it has rows. So because we are trying to expand columns B and C, we need to make sense out of it. And as you can see, column B, for example, doesn't have all the data visible. So if we try to expand it, and that's one of the ways where I put my cursor on the line between columns B and C and try to expand it, you see that there is more data representing the product. You also can use Control-Z or undo command, which is in the quick bar, to undo it. And I'll show you another way how you can expand it. You move the cursor in between lines B and C, and you double click on this line. And that makes this column expand automatically up to the maximum size of the product. So we did it for column B. Let's do the same step for column C. As you see, when I move the cursor and hover it in between columns C and B and double click, it expanded column C as well. We completed step 1, and I'd like to mark it as complete. I'll put my cursor in the cell L4, and I will mark it as green, indicating that it has been completed. And in the meantime, I'd like to bring up your attention to tip 3, which is understand how much time you have. A lot of times, tests do not have a time limit. These types of tests are the ones employer might send you via email, ask you to register and complete it. But a lot of times, tests do have a time limit. And for those tests, you need to know how much time you have. Because I was talking, it took me a long time to complete this exercise. But in reality, this task that we just completed is very simple. So if you have 25 questions or 25 tasks, and you have 25 minutes to complete, you know that you need to be spending on each task no longer than 1 minute on average. And if you slow down on task number 1, you need to catch up on tasks number 2 through 25 to make sure you can complete all of them on time. Did you know that one of the fastest way to find information about Excel topics is to use Microsoft Excel built-in help? Just press F1 button on the keyboard and then search for the topics you're looking for. A lot of articles in Microsoft Help even have built-in videos which help you learn the fastest way possible. Now let's continue and have more fun. So now let's move on and do activity number 2, which is change font style in the row 3. So row 3 is the header row, and what we need to do, we need to select the information between cells B3 and H3, and we need to pick a style. And as you can see, once I select it, you have ability to select styles. Styles are represented right here on the screen in the ribbon. There is a styles group, and you can pick a different style. It doesn't tell us which style should we pick. So as you hover and try to select different styles, you see that information in this range B3 through H3 is changing. So let's select the green style.
just because I like it. But you can try when you're doing your own practice, select different styles. And if you expand the styles box, you see a lot more additional styles that are available. And we can mark step 2 as complete. Let's move to step number 3, which is change font size in the header to 12. To accomplish this step, we need to understand that the header is ranged between B3 and H4. We need to select the header, and there are multiple ways how you can change font style. I'm going to show you 2 ways. One is to select it, obviously, and then you click increase font size button, and it will bring it to 12 automatically. I'm going to do undo just to show you another way how you can do it. You can also do a right mouse click, and you see font styles is right here, and you can change it. So we change it from 11 to 12, and you can do very similar things right here in the font group on the ribbon as well. And in the meantime, I'm going to mark step 3 as complete.
I need to ask you a favor. In addition to questions that are covered as part of this tutorial, what are the other questions you see on the exam? Could you please post them in the comments section of this video? I'd like to cover those questions in my next tutorials. Thank you very much. And now let's continue and have more fun.
Let's move to step number 4, where we would need to format price and sales columns as currency. So first we need to understand price and sales columns as currency. In this document, we have price information in column D just because the column name indicates that this is manufacturing price, and sales information is in columns E and F. So to mark it as currency, we need to select the data in columns D through F, and there are different data types that you can use in Excel, and one of them is accounting number format. That's what typically referred as currency, and it's money sign specific to your country, so it's $sign for me because I'm located in the United States. And what I need to do, I just need to select it, and it formats the data and makes it a currency. So this step 4 is complete, and I'm going to mark it as complete. Let's move to step number 5, which is calculate manufacturing costs, which is calculated as units sold multiplied by manufacturing price. So manufacturing cost column is column G, and that's another tip I'd like to share with you, which is validate results. And by the way, this is the last tip I'm going to share with you, and if you'd like more tips on how to complete Excel simulator tests, make sure to check out the description and download my ebook, which has a lot more tips. Now let's go back to the simulator test so we can complete it. To calculate manufacturing cost, we can use a formula. Here we'll put an equal sign, and we will say that manufacturing cost equals number of units sold, which is column C, multiplied by manufacturing price. So value C4 multiplied by D4 will hit enter, and the total manufacturing cost is, for this specific product, is $3,963. Now we need to expand it for the rest of the values in column G. There are multiple ways to do it. One is to do copy, and then you can paste it. I'm not going to paste it for the entire region because I'd like to show you the second way how you can do it. So I selected where I'd like to paste it, and I click paste, and you see that it calculated price specific to each product. Another way to do it would be just to use this box at the bottom of the selection and extend it by dragging it. And once I do it, the same set of values is calculated in a similar way, and you can validate them by looking at the formula. So for example, here it's values C4 through D4, and if you go, for example, here the calculation is made based on the row 8, which is C8 multiplied by D8, and that completes step number 5. Going back to the tip that I shared with you, which is validate results, I wanted to mention one thing and show you one of the examples how you can quickly validate the result. As you can see, for few products, the manufacturing price is $10 per product. And you can validate result for manufacturing cost by multiplying 1006 by 10, which is very easy. You just add a 0 at the end of the units sold. and that shows that it's 10,060, which is correct because this is what 1006 is multiplied by 10. So that's what I mean by validating results, where you go back and make sense out of the values and out of the data that you're calculating.
To help you get prepared for Microsoft Excel assessment test, I have created free ebook which contains most frequently asked questions on the exam. Make sure to follow the link in the description of this video to download this free ebook. Now let's continue and have more fun.
Now let's continue and calculate the profit, which is activity number 6, and we need to calculate it by subtracting gross sales minus manufacturing costs. So let's look at the data that we have, and we have gross sales represented in column F, and manufacturing cost is something we've just calculated. To do the calculation, we need to say equal, and then we have gross sales minus manufacturing cost. And we have quite a bit of profit for selling of each product. And what we'll do, we'll use one of the ways. Now we know multiple ways how you can fill in the data. I'm just going to drag, and as you can see, the values are calculated. What you see here is that some of the values shown as negative, the values in parentheses, are negative. So let's verify. Let's remember this tip number 4. We need to validate to make sure that that's the case. So if we look, the manufacturing price is $120, but sale price is $12. So it looks like we've lost a lot of money on this, unless there is a mistake. So typically you do have some profits because companies sell for profit, but looks like in this case we do have some products that might have been sold at the discount. Looks like 90% discount. So but the calculations make sense. Whatever we're calculating matches because manufacturing cost is much higher than the sale price, and that's the reason why we have negative profit for some of the products. With that, let's mark activity number 6 as complete. Let's move on to activity number 7, which is save file with the different file name. To do that, what you need to do, you need to click on the File tab, and you need to click a Save As. And when you click Save As, this is where you type the name of the file. So I am just going to say that this is file version 1, and click Save. And I saved it with the different file name, so I can mark this activity 7 as complete. Next activity is center data in rows D through G. So row D through G, we highlight. There are 4 rows that's in this range, and to center the data, this is the button to center your content. And once we click it, it did center it. For numeric values, it does not center it. For currency values, so it keeps them aligned on both sides, because $sign is typically aligned to the left and the value of currency is aligned to the right. But it did center the header, and if you want to double check, you can expand one of the columns or all of them, and you see that the column headers have been centered. So we'll just go back and click undo button since we know that the task was accomplished, so we can mark task 8 as complete.
Would you like to know what are the key objectives employers are looking to test as part of Excel Employment Assessment Test? Make sure to download free ebook from my website, howtoanalyzedata.net/exam objectives. Now let's continue and have more fun.
Let's go to step number 9, change color for the header row. To do that, we need to select the header, and we need to look at the fill color and select a different color. So for example, if you like this, any color that you prefer, so let's select the yellowish color so it still matches the green. It doesn't say which one we should select, so as long as we change it from the green, from the style that we've selected before, we should be fine, and we can mark this task as complete. Next task is task number 10, add borders to the table. To do that, we need to select the table itself. In the font group, there is all borders, and there are different types of borders we can add. So we'll just select all borders, and this creates borders around all the values. And it looks like I selected one row extra, so you can delete the row, but I'm not going to do it. I'm instead going to undo it and select the correct rows and click all borders. So now the selection is complete, and I can mark task 10 as complete as well. Next step is step 11, which is make text in header row as bold. To do that, we need to select the header row, and there are multiple ways to make text bold. One is to just select the bold button in the font group, and you can do the same thing by doing right mouse click, and bold option is available right here in the context sensitive menu. And this allows us to mark completion of task 11 as successful. Let's go to step number 12, which is insert clustered column chart to show units sold per product. To do that, we need to select columns B and C, and those columns are products and units sold. And once we select them, we can pick recommended charts, and the first recommended chart is the clustered column chart. So we can select it and click OK, and that inserts the chart right into Excel spreadsheet, and we can mark task number 12 as complete. Let's move on and complete task number 13, and here it asks us to change chart's title to product sales. So chart's title is units sold, which is different from the data's title, which is right now product sales data. So I'm just highlighting the attention for you. To change the chart's title, you click on the title, and here we need to just type I need to double click and select and type product sales and click anywhere outside the chart, and now the chart's title is product sales, so we can mark task 13 as complete.
What are the other Excel assessment test questions you'd like me to cover as part of my future tutorials? Could you please post them in the comment section of this video? I really appreciate it. Now let's continue and have more.
Next step is to change chart type to bar chart. To do that, we need to select the chart first. Then we go to Chart Design tab, which shows up as soon as you select the chart itself. And here there is an option to change the chart type. You click on this option, and it asks us to select the bar chart. So there are two or multiple, I guess, bar charts, because you can switch between different bar charts. Let's just stick with the first one. Because it asks us to just select the bar chart, we'll select the one that you like. Could be either one of those. Let's say that you like the colored one more, so let's select this one, click OK, and now we have a bar chart, and we can mark task 14 as complete. Next task is task number 15, which is change chart styles. So very similar set of activities we need to complete. We select the chart, we click on the chart design, and you see that there's a whole group of chart styles, and you can even expand it and get even more chart styles. So whichever chart style you like, you can select, and I selected the next available one, but you can play with the values and select the one that you like. And in the meantime, I'm going to back to the Home tab and mark task number 15, change chart styles as complete. Let's move on and go to task number 16, which is wrap text in cell D3. So let's identify cell D3 as the first step. And cell D3 is the header, which shows manufacturing price. And most likely the reason we want to wrap the text is so it doesn't take so much space. And when you wrap it, it can be represented in multiple lines of text. And to do wrapping, you select the text and you click wrap text. And now it's shown as 2 lines, and you can see it expanded the entire row. So now what it allows us to do, it allows us to shrink the size of this column as long as we keep it no smaller than the word manufacturing. So word manufacturing fits in. And this allows us to mark completion of task 16. Now let's move on and go to task number 17, which is duplicate current worksheet into a new one. And there are multiple ways to do it. The easiest one is to right click on the sheet and you select move or copy. Then you select the sheet itself and you say create a copy, and it creates sheet 1 in parentheses 2, which is exact replica of sheet number 1. And this allows us to mark completion of task number 17. Let's move on and complete task number 18, which is merge and center product sales title. To do that, we need to select all the values in the range B2 through H2, and then we click the Merge and Center button. What it does, it merges all these cells and centers the title, product, sales data. And this allows us to mark completion of task number 18. Let's go to the next step, which is step number 19, sort data descending based on units sold. So let me show you how to do it, and I'll explain you as we go along. To complete the task, you need to select the entire table, go and select sort and filter, and then select custom sort. Because it asks us to select based on units sold, we need to select units sold as our sort by criteria. And then by default, order is smallest to largest, but because we're being asked to do it in descending order, descending means that it's going to be largest to smallest, and that's what we select. We click OK, and you see that units sold are now sorted in the descending order, and all the values have been sorted to match the units sold. And this allows us to mark completion of task number 19. Let's go and complete task number 20, which is select print area to print only data table. To do that, we need to select the data table. First of all, let me show you why this is important. When I try to print right now, it shows me all the data. It's 3 pages, and if I scroll through the pages, it shows me my activities, the chart, and the source data, which may or may not be what I'm trying to do. What this task is asking us to complete is only show this data on the printout. To do that, we need to highlight and select the data, go to page layout and select print area and say set print area. And now let's see how this impacted the printout. I go back to the file tab and I can click print, and now you see it only shows 2 pages, and it doesn't show neither the chart nor the activities list. And if we would like to do more, only to fit and show everything in one page, one way to do it would be change orientation from portrait to landscape, and let's see how it impacted us. And if we go click print, it shows only the data and it fits everything into one page, which is exactly what we wanted. But because we were not asked to do it, I'm going to go back and change it back to portrait. I just wanted to show you guys how to do it so you know the trick. And this allows us to mark a completion of task number 20. And I'm reading condition for step number 21, and looks like this is exactly what we need to do. I already explained you how to do it. So to do it, we go to page layout, change orientation to landscape, and we can mark this task as complete. Let's go and complete task number 22, run spell check. Because spell check is something that we assume a lot of times runs automatically. And let's say you don't know where spell check resides in all these tabs and you don't want to search. One way to find it would be to start typing here. And as soon as you type the word spelling, it shows up and it runs the spell check. So that's one way to trigger it. But because I happen to know that it's on the review tab, you can click on the review tab and click on spelling and just follow the prompts. You either ignore, you change, or you autocorrect, and you go through all the words in Excel document and run through the spell check. Instead of doing that, I'll let you do it when you practice, and I am going to mark this task as complete. Next step is to set narrow margins. This is especially useful for printouts. To do that, we need to go to page layout. We click on margins, and right now margins are normal. We need to set them as narrow, which if you go and try to do printout, it shows you that this is the margin between the data and end of the page. It's a narrow margin, and it's going to be the same on this side if we would expand our data. That's how it's going to look as a narrow margin. And I'm going to go back and mark completion of step number 23. Let's go and do step number 24, which is print worksheet to fit one page. By default, because we changed the orientation to landscape, we click print. It already shows that everything fits into one page. So we just need to mark step 24 as complete. Let's go and do step number 25, which is save Excel document as PDF file. To do that, we need to navigate to the File tab, click Save As, and here instead of by default selecting Excel workbook, we can select PDF file. And when we click Save, it would save the document as PDF. And I have it open right here. If you'd like to see, this is how PDF file looks like.
If you like the content, please make sure to click the like button and share with your friends. Also, there's tons of information in the description of this video. Make sure to check it out. Make sure to check out my other relevant videos and subscribe to my YouTube channel. We have a lot of great stuff planned in the pipeline, and I don't want you to miss any of it. And if you'd like to get notified about all the new stuff that are coming out, make sure to subscribe to my email list as well. All links are here on the screen. Make sure to click to stay in touch. Thanks again for watching.